Hi guys, this is Ishwar and my topic is design of support system and strata monitoring in blasting gallery method. So, strata monitoring is a major concern during underground coal mining and needs special attention. Many systematic support rules were imposed for extraction of pillars in blasting gallery method. So for safe operation of depillering by blasting gallery method, it was mandatory to record strata behavior observations and mandatory to follow support rules. So now let's get into a case study on GDK11 incline. Before going further, let me tell you about GDK11. GDK11 is situated in Godavari Kani in Peddapalli district in Telangana. Here we have 4 workable seams namely 1, 2, 3 and 4 with maximum depth from surface to 4th seam of about 450 meter. Here method of extraction are continuous miner and board and pillar development and depillering. Thickness of number 3 seam is about 10 meter and blasting gallery method was introduced in this seam in the year 2002. And then this seam was developed by board and pillar by January 2017. The area of proposed BG panel is ranging from 20,000 to 35,000 meter square, whereas the area in the previous panels is about 14,000 meter square. The extraction of pillars was being done by sandstoning. Some of the conditions of monitoring as per the mine authorities include preparation of strata management plan detailing the proposed instrumentation, regular monitoring and prediction of weighting within the panel and also in the working of 4 seam depillering panel below the proposed panel, monitoring of GOF atmosphere at regular intervals and apprise the result to the mine authorities. For the above purpose, some instruments have to be installed and they are the single height telltale, and it has to be anchored at specific distance above the roof to be decided after visit to the mine at all junctions in third and in fourth seams respectively. And then we have the location of BG panels K1, K2, K3 at GDK11 mine CC working of BG K1 panel in seam 3 GDK11 incline. So you can have a look here how the GDK11 how the BGK1 panel was there in GDK11. And then we have instrumentation plan for BG panel K1. Instrumentation plan along with the location of telltales, strain bars, load cells and convergence monitoring including arrangement for measurement of bed separation in the BGK1 panel are showing in figure 3. So where exactly is figure 3? Yeah, this is figure 3 and we can this star indicates your telltale and this circle indicates the load cell and convergence monitoring stations, and this rectangular symbol indicates the strain bars. And we have so this is the location of strata monitoring instrumentation plan. And then we have the set of convergence and load cells of the instruments have been installed at 10 meter interval at all levels and split level and regularly monitored from GOF edge along the line of extraction. So it is pretty much clear. And convergence stations are also installed in fourth seam at all junctions to understand the tendency of any roof or parting movement. Strain bars grouted up to about 1.5 meter inside the stocks at 1 meter vertical interval and have been installed near the middle of the panel to understand the behavior of pillar or stook at various stages of extraction of pillars. So this is all about, and we have dual point tell which has to be installed anchored at 8 meter, 1.8 meter and 3 meter above the roof at each 4-way junction and at split gallery junction excluding 3-way junctions. It has been also to install extensometers locally with 3 anchors to be anchored at 1.5 meter, 3 meter and 4.5 meter below the floor level of third seam to understand the behavior of stoved goof. And these extensometers from the floor of third seam have installed to know the tendency of separation of pathing between the number 3 and 4 seams near the location of strain bars. And 22 mm rod has been point anchored at various distances and regularly monitored with reference at a plate cemented on the floor as reference level, and the roof are provided with a scale above the reference level as shown in the figure 3. So where exactly is figure 3? Okay, it was showed there. We can see the rods there which were installed. Okay, and then we have support behavior of BGK1 panel SCCL. So you can have a close look to this. Clamp anchored of roof, we have cable bolts here, we have a grider, we have, these are wooden sleepers, and we have hydraulic prop. We'll again see the pictures of these individual. We have brazier. So these are the supporting of junctions with bars. These are generally bars which will be. Then we have clamp anchored to the roof. Okay, then we have dimensions of twin griders jointed together at 5.5 meter length. And the support for room at a distance of 1 meter, griders are grouted, and at the edge of junction twin griders are grounded together of 5.5 meter length. I discussed earlier, they are jointed together 5.5 meter length, and all roof bolts shall be installed vertical. So as we know, all roof bolts should be installed vertical. Then here is a plan showing the roof supports. There we have braziers, and these are I don't know what are all this. And we have support of side elevation. The side shall be supported with two numbers 1.5 meter length resin grounded GRP bolts in a row with a row spacing of 1.5 meter with a plastic wire mesh. The two bolts shall be installed 0.75 meter from the roof line, another 1.75 meter from the roof line. So these are the GRP bolts with a distance 3 meter, 1.5 meter, 2.7 meter and 3 meter. The height of galleries is more than 4 meter and less than 5 meter. The slide shall be supported with 3 numbers 1.5 meter length. So we have numbers for this GRP bolts. We have 3 number and we have numbers like that. If the height of galleries are more than 5 meter, then we should use 4 number 1.5 meter length resin grouted GRP bolts with a row spacing of 1.5 meter along the plastic mesh. The slide shall be supported with additional bolting if any geological disturbances are encountered. So as we know, the geological disturbances like cells, if we encounter them, then it has to be again supported to withstand. Here is a picture, and here supports at face view, lagging grider. So it's just a face view of supports. We have hydraulic props, we have griders, so you can have a clear visualization. Setting of supports, roof bolts shall be installed with twin bolter and wet drilling. Before the start of drilling, the roof roll shall be supported with ATRS, advanced temporary roof support of twin wet bolter with ATRS of twin bolter. Fast and slow set resin capsules shall be used for grouting. The following have to be ensured during the installation of roof bolts. The 1.8 meter length roof bolt shall be grouted with 340 mm fast set capsule and 600 mm slow set capsule. The 2.4 meter of bolt shall be grouted with 340 mm fast set capsule and 800 mm slow set capsule. The 1.5 meter length GRP bolt shall be grouted with 800 mm slow set capsule. The maximum roof to floor convergence recorded up to 252.18 was so this is this boring stuff. We'll move on to telescopic convergence indicator reading. So we have telescopic convergence readings here, which tells you the rate of installation, maximum daily convergence, and cumulative convergence. So it's basically the sum of daily convergence till that date. So, and we have remarks as well, went into GOF on which points the specific dates, which tells us the specific dates when it went into GOF and all. Okay, then we have load cell observations. So in this load cell observations, you can have the location of the load cell and the date of installation and setting load, observed load, cumulative load, and remarks. So you can also have a look here. So one thing, setting load and observed load, we can have a close look. Dual height tells tail observations, which only tells us the location, date of installation, and cumulative convergence. So these are as they are doing, these are just convergence indicators. So they measure the convergence, and these are strain bar readings. And here we have time versus cumulative convergence for convergence. So we can have a look at the graph. I hope the graph is clear enough. So below we have the date and location. So we can have a graph there, and we have time versus cumulative convergence and setting load for load on support. So it's basically time versus cumulative convergence and setting load for load on support. It's a dual graph. So then we have this is a dual graph, and then we have time versus cumulative convergence for dual height telltales. So basically these instruments just measure the convergence, which tells us a lot. By plotting time versus cumulative convergence, we can get a lot of information. We can see these instruments are named telltales because it tells the whole story about the strata there, strata or the GOF which was there. And here is a clear picture of telltales which was installed in the roof and in GTK 11, I think so. Yeah. And we have load cell installed on OC prop, and then we have real-time monitoring. So just having these things are not just sufficient. We should also have real-time sensor systems for telling us what is happening now. The sensor must be located where the gas needs to be. We should also measure the gas along with this strain observations. So this also comes under monitoring only. So this means having multiple sensors underground, and these sensors are exposed to harsh underground environment, which is not ideal for precise analytical instruments. They offer real-time warning and are at the best part for identifying a sudden event such as a belt fire. So they are very useful for us. It will detect immediate changes like a belt fire, so to minimize the loss of damage and loss of lives. Generally, sensors included are methane, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and oxygen. So they will detect these kind of gases. These gases. These type of sensors employed underground tend to have limited measuring ranges. So they tend to have limited measuring ranges. Carbon dioxide often only capable of being measured up to 50 ppm. Methane, so here carbon dioxide can only be measured up to 50 ppm. Beyond that, it won't be able to measure. And this methane can only be measured till 5%, and this carbon monoxide to several percent. So they are also limited. So we have they are not like they are not having a supreme power to detect whatever we have in the mind. They only detect for certain extent. Due to environment, these sensors are in and their characteristics they are not as useful for long term trending as the other techniques. Apart from these things, we can have a machine learning, a quam model, which tells us which monitors the mind rather than currently I'm working on machine learning, so I really hope that I will be able to do it. Most of these sensors require the presence of oxygen to work, and are therefore unsuitable for monitoring. Like humans, they also need oxygen to work. For monitoring areas of low oxygen concentrated, such as sealed or non-ventilated groves. Tube bundles. Then we have tube bundles which draw gas samples from designed sampling locations to the surface through plastic tubes, and they can be analyzed later. So these tube bundles will uh, will draw the gas samples using vacuum pipes, and they can be analyzed using infrared and paramagnetic techniques. The gas measured are carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane, and oxygen. Finally, we have gas chromatography, which is also a useful technique to detect the gases. This significance of time delay is good. So here we basically use a gas chromatography technique to detect the gas. The use of gas chromatography expands analytical capabilities to include gases crucial in the interpretation of spontaneous combustion events, particularly ethylene and hydrogen. So this gas chromatography provides a complete analysis of gases expected. Determination of nitrogen is particularly important for determining oxygen deficiencies in the sum of the spontaneous combustion indicating ratios. Similar to the tube bundles, problem exists with bringing the samples to the gas chromatography. So for this gas chromatography, we have to collect the samples and we have to do gas chromatography. So but it is not as easy as we think. The significance of time delays in getting results is dependent on what results are being used for. So it depends basically on time for collecting samples, for analyzing. It takes time, and it depends on the gas which we are analyzing. And these are all the points which you can read. Like the tube bundle system, the gas chromatography matrix of sample does not affect gas chromatography analysis. In tube bundle system, where we collect by vacuum pumps, the gas matrix of single sample does not affect gas chromatography analysis. So it basically it will not be the result will not be affected by any other gas. But in tube bundles, as we are connecting it with vacuum pumps, the result may be affected due to presence of some matrix of gases. So here are the few references which I took. That's all. Thank you.